YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another video for Fantasy Good Sports, guys. And today's video, guys, is going to be on 6 late round wide receiver studs that you should be drafting in your draft, guys. And this is our killer ADP value, guys. So, guys, make sure you follow my boy Matt. What can they follow you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MattGalloway34.
Yes, sir, guys. And he also, guys, he works for Fantasy Headliners, one of the top fantasy channels. I just want to shoot them out. Hey, that's a really great channel. Go follow them too, guys. And also, guys, make sure you sign up for my OnlyFans, guys. It's cutting edge content there. And also, I can help you with your draft for $80. And if you just want to do a consultation, guys, it's $40. But if you sign up for the OnlyFans, you're getting half off on all those things, guys. And also, I will be doing giveaways and free leagues for my listener leagues. So with no further ado, let's begin. The first wide receiver that I believe that is a late round wide receiver stud, guys, is Jahan Dotson. Yes, guys, Jahan Dotson. And the reason why I like Jahan Dotson is because of Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy has had players on Kansas City offense that have been studs that really probably you wouldn't think would be a stud on Kansas City. But when you go to Jahan Dotson, you see what he's done at the PFF for far as separating on routes and also leading his team in touchdowns. What you think Eric Bieniemy is going to do for him? Look what they did for Kadarius Toney. Look what they did for MVS. Look what they did for Juju. So what do you think he's going to do for Jahan Dotson when Jahan Dotson has one of the best PFF graded out as far as route running and catching deep balls? So, guys, I love Jahan Dotson. Make sure you pick him up.
Okay, so the first guy I want to talk about, this is a name that has been marred in injuries for the past couple of seasons, and a lot of people want to shy away from it, right? But every indication that I've seen on all the media outlets and sources, and even from the horse's mouth, right? He's 100% healthy. He's ready to get busy. That's Michael Thomas.
Right.
All right. I think a lot of people forget who Michael Thomas is.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, it's the same, analogy. What have you done for me lately? Okay. And he's been unavailable. Well, again, if he's healthy, at the ADP he's going, and the Derek Carr effect is what I want to say that really puts him over the top. Derek Carr is an underrated quarterback, but the thing that I like about him, Derek Carr has this hyper-target chemistry with his receivers.
Right.
He's always had that, right? You go back to Crabtree, Amari Cooper,
right?
Then last year with Devontae, right?
Hunter
Winfro. Right. Even Darren Waller, he's a receiver.
Right.
You feel me?
Yep.
Even though he's quote unquote tight end, but he's in essence a receiver.
Right.
Michael Thomas is going to be the same thing. Now Olave's there. I'm not saying anything negative about him, but as far as a late round stud, you can get Michael Thomas, who very well may dominate the target.
Come on now.
So now you're going to essentially get the number one wide receiver in an offense where you got a quarterback that's going to hyper target a guy. And Michael Thomas, if he's 100% healthy, is still a top 5 receiver.
Right.
So Michael Thomas is a smash to me in this ADP range of around about the 10th round. It just really depends on your league format.
Right.
But he's been typically running around about the 10th round, somewhere in there. From the 7th to the 10th round, that's still smash.
Right.
You can get a top 15 wide receiver potentially that late.
Right. I love Michael Thomas. I don't think you can get a better value. And even if he only stays healthy for 5 weeks, it's not going to kill your team because of where you drafted him.
Exactly.
So I love it. All right, guys, my next guy that I believe is a late round stud wide receiver is Brandon Cooks, guys. Yes, Brandon Cooks. I said what I said, Brandon Cooks. And the reason why I'm high on Brandon Cooks, guys, is because Dak Prescott needs a consistent target. CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup are downfield hybrid type guys. Michael Gallup is a down the field guy. CeeDee Lamb is a hybrid guy where he's a yak guy. He's not really a great separator on routes. He can, but that's not his forte. I believe Brandon Cooks can separate and get distance from the corner quicker than any of these other wide receivers, which helps Dak Prescott not hold on to the ball and take sacks and turn the ball over like he did last year. So Brandon Cooks, guys, is going to help this team out a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Cooks is a top 24 wide receiver, and I say that in a safe manner. Would I be surprised if he's top 12? No, because he's going to be bombarded with targets. He's going to command more targets than CeeDee Lamb, but he's not going to get the honey targets like CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to get the opportunities to score touchdowns. But we talking about late round wide receivers, not studs. So you get Brandon Cooks, who's getting 7 to 8 targets a game and catches for 70, 80 yards. That's a wide receiver 19, 17, and wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, depending on your league format. So guys, pick up Brandon Cooks. Don't forget about him. This guy's still a really good wide receiver. He just played with Davis Mills, who had the worst target per route ratio than any other quarterbacks in the whole NFL last year. That's a stat for you. There you go.
I love it, and you know, and to echo that, man, you know, I agree with you. In the tutelage and what he's going to be able to introduce and to help CeeDee Lamb, right? Which kind of leads into my number 2 receiver. It's going to be kind of the same situation where this young man is going to be tutored and mentored by a receiver that they just recently got.
Come on now.
That's George Pickens, and they just recently got Allen Robinson.
Yup.
Now, again, recency bias, people forget about who Allen Robinson was. Allen Robinson was one of the best route runners in the game. You know, in the mentality of what he brought to the game, he'll be able to introduce some of that to George Pickens.
Come on now.
Right? So now you're looking at a Pittsburgh Steelers offense that bolsters the offensive line. You got studs in the backfield. You got Kenny Pickett. You got multiple pass-catching weapons.
Right.
So that's going to spread this defenses out. They're going to have to make some business decisions. George Pickens, out of all those pass catchers on the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, is the only one, in my opinion, that can win one-on-one matchups.
Right.
He did it last year.
Right.
He was a rookie, and they had number 1 corners on him, and he had over 800 yards.
Right.
With a young Kenny Pickett. So now you got Kenny Pickett
and a Mitchell Trubisky that was terrible in the beginning.
Exactly. So now you got a guy that you can get in late rounds, right? Who already has shown that he has the tenacity to go against number 1 corners and win.
Right.
So now you got him going into year 2 with all the stuff that I've previously stated. I think he's a smash at his ADP.
I agree with that. I like George Pickens, but he's got to fall at the right spot for me because I think it's a lot of mouths to feed, but I can't hate on George Pickens' athletic ability and that having Allen Robinson there to learn from him, I think that you can't get another better match made in heaven. It's kind of like in the NBA where you got a young phenom and then you get an old veteran to show him how to work and then he can then he's going to maturate from there. So I agree, bro. My last guy, guys, that I feel is a sleeper for a wide receiver is Alec Pierce. Yes, guys, Alec Pierce from the Indianapolis Colts. And the reason why I like Alec Pierce, guys, is because of Anthony Richardson being a starter there. Anthony Richardson is the best. His forte is the deep ball when it comes to passing. Right now, he's struggling a little bit when it comes to intermediate and short, but deep routes he's good on. You watch him at Florida, he hit on a lot of deep routes. Alec Pierce is the best deep route guy, not jump ball guy. Michael Pittman is a jump ball contest and catch guy, but separating on deep routes is Alec Pierce. Guys, I love Alec Pierce to be that for this team. He's a number 2, and I think he's going to run a lot of post and double moves, and they're going to hit him on some of those plays, and that's gonna be you're gonna be able to get that boom. So I love getting wide receiver 3s or flex plays that can go for 50, 60 yard touchdowns and win you a week off of that play. Especially if you play in a bonus league, and I play in a lot of bonus league for big plays. So guys, make sure you pick up Alec Pierce. Don't forget this guy in Cincinnati helped Desmond Ritter be a Heisman candidate. So I love Alec Pierce. Very fast too, and he's also a tall wide receiver.
That's a very good pick, man. I hadn't heard anybody in the industry talking about Alec Pierce, man. So and you brought out some stuff even to myself that I didn't, realize. So that I love that pick. So my last player, last but not least, is Treylon Burks. Again, this is a guy I think that a lot of people are not really, shining a light on, so to speak, and not really knowing. Number 1, the draft capital that they invested in him last season. His draft capital was higher than any wide receiver coming out this season.
Right.
So a lot of people want to talk about Zay Flowers and JSN and all these guys. Treylon Burks' draft capital was way above those guys.
Right, I agree.
So you got to look at it from that standpoint. Now, again, I know at the time of this recording, there's some rumors and some talk about D-Hop possibly going there.
Right.
Let's just say that happens, right? I still believe with his ADP, Treylon Burks, again, it could be a situation like George Pickens we were talking about and Brandon Cooks. These guys, if he goes there, or D-Hop, if he goes there, he could potentially help Treylon futuristically, right? And even in the immediate, he can learn from this guy. But I think it'll still be enough target volume for him to be able to be successful. But if you look at the last 3 games of last season, when he played with Tannehill, he averaged over 12 PPR points a game. It was 3 games that they played together because Treylon, of course, was hurt the prior, first few games of the season. But it showed a rapport that him and Tannehill had, and he had over a 21% target share. So that shows you they were looking for him. And let's back up. That was the whole reason that they got rid of A.J. Brown, because they believed in Treylon Burks. So it's going to be very hard for me to believe that they're just going to throw all that out the window and take that investment, what they invested in, highly, to not use this guy. So to have him at a late ADP like that, it's almost a steal. So I'd say go out there and get Treylon Burks. Like I said, what are you going to lose, in the 10th, 11th round?
Nothing.
It's almost a lottery pick, to be honest.
I agree with that 100%. And he got that boom potential, especially in Dynasty. Like if I was in Dynasty, I go buy low on Treylon Burks so much right now. I go give up a second. I won't give up a first because that's what he probably is worth. But I think you can get 2 seconds for him, or maybe another pick. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go and try to buy low on Treylon right now. So guys, thank y'all for tuning in to Fantasy Good Sports. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content.